Thank you very much for the scientific committee. Thank you very much for all of you for being here. When we look at the cause or the causes for that situation, we can refer to the very important work provided by the Global Burden of Disease. And this work is regularly updated, and here with the last results, but which are really consistent with the results published before. You can see that the way we eat and drink is basically the first risk factor, and it is true everywhere, almost in every country in the world. So it means that in countries where overnutrition is more prevalent, or in countries where nutritional deficiencies are more important, it means that whatever the country, the way we eat and drink, the dietary risk, as it is called, is really what drives the health problem and the non-communicable diseases. And we know from different publications and different models that if we are able to change the dietary patterns, we are able really to save a lot of lives. So it is a positive note. We should not be depressed by the situation. I think we should really take that as a challenge. And basically, it looks quite simple. If we have such a clarity on the fact that the non-communicable diseases are driven by dietary habits. So the first direction, to my opinion, is to broaden our perspective on nutrition. We know that the science of human nutrition is a new science. It's probably 50, 60 years old now. It started even after animal nutrition science, and it focuses at the beginning on the study of the needs of nutrition and using epidemiological studies to try to make links between what we eat and health. This is how the science of nutrition came up with identification of nutrients involved in the health problems, either because we eat too much salt or saturated fat, or either because we don't eat enough, and you remember the antioxidant or the vitamin E, the fibers, etc. And you probably also remember that when the research turned into intervention to supplement the diet with the specific nutrients that were missing, like the antioxidants or the reduction of other nutrients like saturated fat, etc. Basically, the results have been very disappointing. You remember even with antioxidants that the expected effect, the result of the intervention sometimes was the contrary of what was expected, and with an increased rate of death for the intervention population. So this is the result of a simple fact, which is that we don't eat nutrients, we eat food. And all this research focusing on specific nutrients has not taken into account the food effect and the matrix effect. So if we want to think about nutrition and health, I think we need to take into account much more the food and the different food categories on top than it is today. Of course, we need to keep considering the nutritional needs, but to add to our reflection and the food that we eat every day. So in this case, it's about the food habits. It's a research that has been performed by my department with the Center of Nutrition in Argentina. And using 7 days food diaries, we've been able to summarize the average pattern of the toddlers in Argentina. This is the toddlers from 1 to 3 years old. And if we have this repetition of at least 4 days, ideally 7 days, with some mathematical models, we are able to understand the dynamic between the different food groups. What are the foods that are always consumed together, or what are the foods that are alterned one day to the other? So in this case, I just extracted the data for the beverage part. You can see that and the toddlers from 1 to 3 years old, they are consuming fruit juices and soft drinks 1 day out of 2, which is really huge. And the mathematical model showed us that we can realistically expect to substitute 2 consumptions per individual per week, because that's already part of the habit, also to drink water. But we can, if we promote more the consumption of water, this is realistic to displace, to shift the diet. And you can see on the right what would be the consequence in terms of nutrition with the example of sugar, because we were talking about soft drinks. So my point here is to not to elaborate about the figures, but to show you that once we have a precise description of the diet, we are able to start from the reality and build strategies that are probably more realistic than when we start from general guidelines.